Are you in search of a pharmacy for all your medical needs? Check out my guy Jason Hu's Skylands Pharmacy and Compounding, located at 337 US 46 Rockaway, New Jersey, zip code 07866, serving all of New York and New Jersey. They specialize in compounding sildenafil for male erectile dysfunction, as well as semaglutide and tirzepatide for weight loss. They come to you with an amazing delivery service, so don't worry about having to come in person. Once again, check out Skylands Pharmacy and Compounding in Rockaway, New Jersey by my guy Jason Hu was the first guy to buy my merch. You can call them at 973-559-7979. That's 973-559-7979. Proud partner of the DJ Sports Show on WRCR 1700 AM and WRCR.com.
ABC's got the most explosive show. Are you ready for some football?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready for some football? The NFL season is here, almost here. We have the first game with the Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning two-time defending Super Bowl champions, hosting the Baltimore Ravens on September 5th, next Thursday. And, man, we have a great show here for you guys today. It's your host, DJ Hamilton, DJ Sports, here on WRCR Radio here in Garnerville, New York. How you doing today, Will?
I'm doing all right, DJ. And yourself?
Doing good, man. This year's going flying by, man. It's almost September already.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, and that means it's time for football, ladies and gentlemen, America's favorite sport. And we have a great guest coming on the show, ladies and gentlemen, as we're going to go through our thoughts heading into the football season. But I didn't want to do it alone today. In this episode today, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce my friend who I met at the NBJ conference in Chicago, who is the host of the Run podcast. He does talking all things sports, and also a former co-host of Sports Rap Radio with the great Rob Parker, my guy, Manny Wilson.
Hey, man. What's going on with y'all, bro?
Hey, Manny. Hey, it's great to have you on, man. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited to be here, and I'm ready to get the conversations going, you know. I got some hot takes I'm ready to throw at y'all, so I'm ready when y'all are.
Oh, yeah. You showed me some of them last night. I was like, oh, yeah, I can't wait till tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So, Manny, I know I think you remember you telling me football's your favorite sport, right?
Yeah, it's definitely – I remember we had the conversation. I'm like, basketball is my favorite, but I love football because it just brings everybody together in this country. So it's like that's what part of the reason why it makes it my favorite, because it just brings everybody together, and we're all talking about it. So
definitely. Football is the number one sport in America, and I'm actually here wearing my DJ Sports Show football shirt. You know, got to represent. Make sure you guys go buy some merch. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Yeah. But let's get right into it, man. So NFL, I call this NFL Football Frenzy. It's going to be a football-centric show. So we're going to each alternate, like give our thoughts and like elaborate and stuff like that. So I'll go first since I'm the host of the show. So NFL Football Frenzy, ladies and gentlemen. My first thing is I think the Chiefs will three-peat if they're healthy. That's a hot take right there. I think this team, they're looking to become the first team in NFL history to win 3 consecutive Super Bowls. No team in NFL history has ever done it. Not even Tom Brady, who's considered the GOAT in pretty much everybody's eyes. He didn't even win 3 consecutive Super Bowls. Joe Montana's never done it. Those Steelers teams, the dynasty in the 70s, never done it. They won back-to-back, but they never won 3 consecutive Super Bowls. And there's some few reasons why I think they can win their 3rd consecutive Super Bowl. The first is they re-signed some key veterans this offseason. So they re-signed All-Pro center Creed Humphrey, who's only 25 years old, to the largest contract for a center in NFL history recently. 4 years, $72 million, $50 million guaranteed, and $18 on annual average. He is an incredible center. He does a great job getting the ball out to catching Mahomes quickly, in play action, things of that nature. And he's a great blocker. He's arguably, with Jason Kelce now retired, leaving the Philadelphia Eagles and retiring from the league, Humphrey is considered by most by far the best center in the league now with Kelce out of the picture. So I like to say that. Creed Humphrey, the fact that they locked him up for the foreseeable future, and he's young, he's not even near his prime yet, they extended their Super Bowl window. So I like that. That's one key reason. Another is continue on with the veterans. They re-signed their all-pro defensive tackle, Chris Jones, who now Aaron Donald retired from the league. He, considered by most, probably is the best defensive tackle in the league. Because I know there's a lot of great defensive tackles in the league. You have the Niners, Nick Bosa. You have Aiden Hutchinson on the Detroit Lions. You have Myles Garrett, the Cleveland Browns. But Chris Jones, he's just a force to be reckoned with. And I know there was a lot of turmoil going into last season. Oh, is he going to sign this contract? It's because he signed a 1-year deal. We didn't know if he was going to leave. But now they scared him for the foreseeable future. Next 5 years, over $158 million, $101 million guaranteed per NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport. And they also extended Travis Kelce. I know he's not what he used to be, Travis Kelce, but he showed us in key moments in the playoffs last season that he could still be vintage Travis Kelce in the Super Bowl, the AFC Championship game. When his team needed big plays, he came up big, especially against the Niners. And I know he might not be what he used to be, but I think having him there still on that 2-year extension they signed him over $34 million is still very key. Because they have a lot of young guys, especially on the defensive end. And now they have some young receivers, new receivers coming in, trying to learn the system. You have Marquise Hollywood-Brown, who's coming into the system. They drafted Xavier Worthy, first-round draft pick. Rashee Rice is still young. He's still learning the system, only in his second year in the league. They can learn from a veteran like Kelce, who's one of the top 3 tight ends of all time. Hey, to have him there for the foreseeable future, the next couple seasons, I think he'll stay there another 2-3 years, and then he'll age gracefully and retire from the league. Still having Patrick Mahomes, arguably the greatest duo of all time, is scary. So still have that chemistry, still have the camaraderie, and still have him there in the locker room is key for the Chiefs in their pursuits of getting that 3-peat. And then another reason I have is their upgrade at receivers, man. Hey, yo, I'm happy Kadarius Toney's gone, bro.
It's about time.
Yo, that dude cannot catch he couldn't catch nothing, man. Yo, if you gave him Stickum, I don't think he'll still catch it. Bro, the personnel that Mahomes had as receivers last year was an atrocity. I was like, what is going on here? I've been a Mahomes guy since the year he became a starter. So even before he won a Super Bowl, like I was like, who is this guy? He got me back into football, man. Like him and Lamar Jackson, like my freshman year of college, and then I think it was sophomore year when Lamar Jackson really blew up in 2019-20. Those two, they really got me back into football. And I was watching Patrick Mahomes my freshman year. I was like, who is this guy throwing across his body, doing these behind the back passes? All like he was making the game look fun and exciting again, bringing that flair. He was like something we never seen before. And now that he has receivers, what were you gonna say?
I was just saying he was showing out. That's what Pat Mahomes be doing, man.
That's what he does, man.
Great ball player right there.
Yeah. Yo, he's a dog, man. He really is a dog. And the receivers they required this offseason. So they acquired Marquise Hollywood-Brown from the Cardinals, who was last year by the Cardinals. He was second in targets for the team with 101 in 14 games. He had 51 receptions on only 4 drops, and he had around 4 to 5 touchdowns. But he's expected to miss the first 4 to 6 weeks as he's nursing a shoulder injury, so they're going to have to be without him. So I'm expecting Rashee Rice, who is a sophomore now. I know he's had his offseason troubles. I hope he gets his stuff together, but I heard in the training camp there's been notes taken. I've been looking online, researching. Everybody's saying he's doing an incredible job. He looks even sharper, more decisive in and out of his routes. He understands the schemes better, seeing what the defense is giving him, which is good, what you want to see from your sophomore player who's played in big games now in the playoffs and Super Bowl. He's been on the big stage, so he knows what to expect going into this season since he's seen it all now. They drafted former Big 12 Offensive Freshman of the Year in 2021 and a 2-time first-team All-Big 12 Conference selection, Xavier Worthy, in the first round out of Texas, who had the fastest 40-yard dash this past NFL Combine in 4.21. But it takes more than speed to be an elite receiver. I saw some of his tape, watching some of his preseason stuff. Yes, he's really fast. He'll need to get stronger. He got a little knocked around by some of the corners in NFL and stuff like that. And he seemed to stumble on some of his catches. So I think as he continues to get stronger, learn the NFL game, and get his feet under him, I think he'll be a really good contribution to the team. And they're going to need him and Rashee Rice to really step up, especially with Hollywood-Brown out for the first quarter of the season or so, or first third of the season. He's going to be out. So they're going to need those two guys to really step up. And then the last thing I think we could repeat, Mahomes' motivation. Yo, did you see the NFL Top 100?
I did see that. See that list
Mahomes
for the top 100.
Yeah, Mahomes was ranked 4th behind all the 3 players ranked ahead of him. So you have Christian McCaffrey of the Niners. He was Offensive Player of the Year last year. You have Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, the reigning league MVP, who was 2nd. And he had Tyreek Hill, the Dolphins, who was ranked 1st. The first wide receiver to ever be ranked 1st in NFL Top 100 history since they've been doing this for 14 years. And Mahomes was ranked 4th. And I'm thinking on this list, I'm looking at this, scratching my head. I'm like, he beat all these guys on the course to his 3rd Super Bowl. I'm like, what is going on here? Put the weed down. I'm like, what is going on here? I'm like, did they not watch the postseason? And did they not see the offense he was playing with? I'm like, what? The Ravens had a better team. I honestly picked the Chiefs to win it. That was the episode I had Rob Parker on the show. We did our, I think it was Rob Parker. No, that was Super Bowl. We had Rob Parker on. and we were choosing the Niners and Chiefs. I had the Chiefs, and he chose the Niners. And then Lamar Jackson, that was me, my boy Dylan, AFC. He had the Ravens, I had the Chiefs, and I stuck with them. And even with all the terrible wide receivers they had. So, yeah. And then, to see, I'm like, Mahomes. And you know Mahomes is a dog. He's going to take, he might not say it, but he took that, and he took that note down in his head. Like, oh, y'all have me fourth? Even though I won back-to-back Super Bowl MVPs, back-to-back Super Bowl championships. I was a league MVP 2 seasons ago. And I had the worst wide receiver personnel you could probably think of, and I still won the Super Bowl against beating the Baltimore Ravens, who had the best record in the league last season, beating the Niners, who had one of the top defenses in the league last season. And you guys still going to doubt me? Okay, bet. I'm going to write that down, take it in my notes. So I call it the Mahomes motivation. Yeah. And how are we going to continue to doubt him when he's had epic comebacks in his career? 24-0 comeback in that 2019 divisional round against the Texans, where he threw for 321 yards, 5 touchdowns. And he's been down 10 or more points in every of his 4 Super Bowl appearances, and he came back in 3 of them, winning in 2020 and 2023 and 2024, where he beat the Niners and the Eagles in those Super Bowls. So, yeah, that's my first one. What about you, my guy?
So I definitely think that the Chiefs is probably going to three-peat. I hope they three-peat just for the sake of
history,
being able to witness it in history.
Yeah.
Like, how many times can we say, like, we witnessed a historical event in the game of football? So I want to be deep down the line 20 years into the game of football, and I want to be that old head that's talking about, no, I remember when Patrick Mahomes three-peated. He's the greatest quarterback ever.
Yep.
So I want to be able to witness him three-peat and win another Super Bowl. And then also, to comment on that top 100 list, it's evident at this point. The league and the players in this league is so tired of losing to Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
It's evident.
And it was player voted, so they got the haters out there.
Player voted, and that just tells us everything we need to know. They're not putting him number one. And we've seen what Jamar Chase even said on the Bengals. They asked him who was the best quarterback. He said, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it. He openly said it. He said, I'm not saying it, so because I'm not going to say it, Joe Burrow. And he knows what's up because he got beat by Pat Mahomes.
Yep.
And granted, the Bengals, they did end up beating the Chiefs as well at one point. But above all, the Kansas City Chiefs have been the team to beat for the last 5 years, and can't nobody stop them. Yep. So I wouldn't have voted for Pat Mahomes either as a top number 1 player in the NFL. I'm not doing it, especially when I'm trying to beat this guy year after year. So I understand everyone's valid point there of we got to see somebody else win, and I understand why they put him below number 1 and put him at number 4. So I understand that, and I do think the Chiefs ultimately they'll overcome all of that stuff. They'll three-peat, but as you mentioned, it's difficult. It's not going to be easy. Yes, they got the better receiving core. Yes, they got some veterans they brought back, but you got to think about the early 90s with the Cowboys teams. They had a stacked team over there, and they still couldn't get the three-peat done. You got to think about the Patriots in the early 2000s. They had a stacked roster over there, and they still couldn't get the three-peat done. So although the Chiefs are stacking these pieces here, it is very difficult to do. It is not easy at all to actually accomplish and complete that three-peat. So I hope they do it, and I think Pat Mahomes is the person that could get them over the hump and actually do it, but it won't be easy at all.
Yep. Nobody saw them winning last year.
Absolutely.
Even though I still believed in them, but a lot of pundits and media pundits did not believe they would win. But yeah, what's your first thought heading to the NFL season?
Heading into the season?
Yeah, I remember you wrote something about the Browns winning the AFC North. I remember you texted me yesterday.
Yeah, so I didn't mention that. I know it's a little outrageous, and some people see that. And
ahead of the Ravens?
They're like, do you know what division the Cleveland Browns play in? Are you okay? Are you sane?
Like the Bengals are in that division too.
I know that's the question. You got the Bengals, you got the Ravens. So here's why I say the Cleveland Browns actually have a legitimate shot because, you got to remember, the Cleveland Browns, they still have a top-tier defense. Last year they had a lot of struggles, but this was the team who was number 1 in defensive yards allowed last year, and they showed it every night they stepped out into the field. They were locked down. They have a solid defensive front, and they have a solid backfield or a solid secondary with the Cleveland Browns. The only issue outside of one position is Deshaun Watson. It's really Deshaun Watson. That's the only issue going on with the Cleveland Browns because they still have all the skill guys there. They still got Amari Cooper, still got a solid backfield there. behind the offensive line, and the offensive line is not even bad either. But Deshaun Watson has not been present. The man has played 12 games in the past 2 seasons. 12 games in the past 2 seasons.
He's just been collecting checks.
And collecting checks. He got to learn how to keep his hands to himself, first and foremost. That already got him in trouble. So it seems like he's down the right path now, but 6 games in 2 seasons, or 6 games in the past 2 seasons of the regular season is just not going to cut it. You play 6 games a season, your team has no chance to possibly go far and thrive. But they have the pieces there, and it's going to be competitive. We see it's already a toss-up in the AFC North between the Ravens and the Bengals, but division play is always weird. A lot of times, these guys play each other every single year, so they know each other's style. They know what works well. They know what doesn't work well. So because we haven't really seen the Cleveland Browns thrive with Deshaun Watson yet, it's a lot that lies on his shoulders. And ultimately, above all, the reason I say the Browns have a legitimate shot is because if we see a hint of what Deshaun Watson was doing in Houston before he was traded, the rest of the AFC might be in trouble. They might be in trouble.
Oh, you heard that, ladies and gentlemen? The AFC's in trouble.
They might be in trouble. They might, and just to clear the slate there, I am not a Cleveland Browns fan. I am just a football fan in general. I just observe the game, non-biased. I'm not a Cleveland Browns fan. There's no way in hell I'll ever cheer for the Cleveland Browns. You got to let that be known. So I don't want people to be thinking, oh, this guy's a Cleveland Browns fan. That's why he's saying that. Yeah. No, absolutely not. But if Deshaun Watson, if he shows a flash of what we've seen in Houston, then the rest of the AFC might be in trouble.
Hey, that's a good point right there, my brother. That's a great point. And I know you're a Detroit native. The Lions, I know you're fan for the Lions. But we're going to take a quick break, my guy. We're going to come back with another one of our thoughts. So make sure you have your next point ready. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to the DJ Sports Show here on WRCR Radio here in Garnerville, New York. We'll be back in a minute, continuing with my guy Manny on our latest thoughts heading into NFL season. Are you in search of a pharmacy for all your medical needs? Check out my guy Jason Hu's Skylands Pharmacy and Compounding, located at 337 US 46 Rockaway, New Jersey, zip code 07866, serving all of New York and New Jersey. They specialize in compounding sildenafil for male erectile dysfunction, as well as semaglutide and tirzepatide for weight loss. They come to you with an amazing delivery service, so don't worry about having to come in person. Once again, check out Skylands Pharmacy and Compounding in Rockaway, New Jersey by my guy Jason who was the first guy to buy my merch. You can call them at 973-559-7979. That's 973-559-7979. Proud partner of the DJ Sports Show on WRCR 1700 AM and WRCR.com. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here on the DJ Sports Show here on WRCR 1700 AM radio in Garnerville, New York. Still here with my guy Manny Wilson of the Run podcast, where he talks all things sports. So, Manny, the next thing I have is, this is a special rookie class. We got Caleb Williams of the Bears, Dan Daniels of Washington, QB. We have Malik Neighbors of the Giants wide receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr. of the Cardinals, Rome Odunze of the Bears, who's a wide receiver for them, Brock Bowers, the Raiders tight end, and the Chargers OL offensive lineman right tackle Joe Alt, just to name a few. Who are some of the rookies you're excited for seeing, watching play this season?
Well, I got to say, being in Chicago, of course, first and foremost, Caleb Williams. I think this kid is about to really turn around the Chicago Bears, just in terms of a popularity standpoint, a winning standpoint, and just from a franchise standpoint. I think he's going to really be that key piece that can actually turn the Bears around. And I know a lot of times, people go back on how people who cheer for the Bears said the same thing with Justin Fields, which is very true. A lot of people said the same thing about Justin Fields. Oh, he's going to turn the organization around, and he's going to make this happen, make that happen. None of it came true. However, with Caleb Williams, you just see a different type of talent here. It's rare. It's rare. I know year after year we see quarterbacks improve and show more and more skill, but it's a reason everybody's saying the passes he's throwing looks like Patrick Mahomes. It's a reason they're saying
Mahomes-esque. Yep.
Exactly. It's a reason for that. And if you watch the games, if you watch what he's done in the preseason at training camp, you can't deny the fact
Yeah,
that
I saw that one when he was charging towards the left of the sideline. He threw the ball across his body, basically about to go out of bounds, and he finds his receiver for the touchdown. Like, basically, he was losing his bounce, and I'm like, yo, that's an incredible throw. I'm like, whoa.
Incredible.
I'm like, yeah. He's using his legs, showing his mobility. Yeah, rushing for touchdowns. He's showing he's a dual threat, which is what you want to see in the modern-day quarterback.
Absolutely. And it's just evident to me that right off the bat, I think Caleb Williams, he's going to have a terrific season. And also, too, because he also has another rookie on that team from Washington, Rome Odunze, I think he'll have a great season, too, because he's playing with a quarterback like Caleb Williams. So I'm immediately going to be checking out the Bears. I'll be keeping an eye out for them. And then just to give another guy, too, that I'm interested in, I'm curious to see what Keon Coleman does because, he's almost going to be that primary target for the Buffalo Bills now. And he has a pretty good quarterback in Josh Allen who can sling the rock pretty well. Mm-hmm. And then we also see the Buffalo Bills lose Stephon Diggs. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of combat that loss of Stephon Diggs and bringing in another guy like Keon Coleman. If they make him the primary target or if they're trying to force feed him the ball game after game. So those are mainly the two guys that I'm focusing in on for this upcoming season.
Yeah. Yo, this rookie class is really special, man. Like, I'm looking forward to Caleb Williams, of course, quarterback, but let's not forget about Marvin Harrison Jr., man, wide receiver for the Cardinals. Woo! Yep. Bro, that brother is special, bro. Son of NFL Hall of Famer and legendary wide receiver Marvin Harrison Sr., who used to play for the Colts with Peyton Manning, who won that Super Bowl back in 2007. Man, this guy, 6'4", this guy has great hands. He can move well. He can catch a deep ball, catch short routes, everything, bro. He is – everybody, NFL scouts were highly touting him for a while, and they were saying he's the best wide receiver prospect in about a decade. Some were saying best wide receiver prospect since like Calvin Johnson, yo. And we've seen Jamar Chase, we've seen Justin Jefferson, and they're saying he'd be better than them, which is saying a lot.
That's a big statement right there. That's huge.
Yeah, and I know DeAndre Hopkins now in the Tennessee Titans, but Kyler Murray, you now have another weapon who has a chance to be an all-pro receiver one day. I know Kyler Murray doesn't have the size to see over the defense, but I'm telling you right now, Marvin Harrison Jr., he's going to make your job a lot easier.
Absolutely. I 1,000% agree with that. He's definitely someone to watch because we've seen what he did in college. And, I mean, going on this next level, Kyler Murray is a damn good quarterback also, so you can't help but to think that they'll really shake things up over there with the Cardinals.
Oh, yeah. And then Brock Bowers of the Raiders, he's considered one of the best tight end prospects in a while. I think he's going to do great. I've seen some of his preseason tape. Man, he's great at blocking against the run, blocking against the pass. He can get out there, catch the ball at an elite rate. He is an amazing talent. I think he's going to be a great player for the Raiders down the road. I think he has a lot of talent and potential. And then Joe All of the Chargers, offensive lineman, give the lineman some love, man. He's a former basketball player. Yo, he's 6'8", 6'9", and, man, he moves his feet very well. He doesn't cross his feet when he's blocking on defensive rushers coming at him. And he does a great job at punching, not literally punching, but like punching the pass rushers coming toward him and protecting the quarterback and making sure they don't get tackled by the opposing defenders. So he does a great job in keeping his bounce and everything like that. And I can tell he played basketball because he keeps a great stance like he's playing defense, guarding somebody.
And, that makes me think, too, because those guys are all great that we're mentioning, but I can't help but to think about a couple other people. One, Jaden Daniels going into a new situation over with Washington. Now the Commanders, they've been pretty bad for a minute, for a good minute at this point. So I'm curious to see what changes they make surrounding Jaden Daniels. And then also, I feel so bad for this guy who was drafted, Malik Neighbors. We know how great of a receiver he is, but him going to play with the Giants, oh my gosh, that is quite honestly the worst location he could have went to go have a successful NFL career. It is the worst location when you have Daniel Jones throwing you the ball, who can't throw the ball over 35 yards accurately. It's just awful, and I feel so bad because I see so much hype about him, and he was so great in college, and now he has to go to this horrific situation. And
Odell Beckham all over again.
I feel bad for the kid, literally.
Oh, man.
I feel so bad for him.
10 years later.
Years later, Giants is back in the same situation.
And he's out of LSU, too, the LSU lineage.
Yep, another LSU receiver they're doing this to. So if I'm an LSU receiver at this point, the last place I want to go to is New York. I just don't I want to stay away. I want to stay away, especially if it's the Giants.
My guy is denigrating the Giants.
Oh, my God. That's going to be rough for them.
Before we close it out, who's your offensive rookie of the year? This is a very good class with a lot of offensive talent.
Offensive rookie of the year, going Caleb Williams for sure. Caleb Williams for sure. I think Caleb Williams already has the hype. So even if he has just a decent season, bias is going to side his way, and they're going to give him rookie of the year. Unfortunately, even if he does not 100% deserve it.
Yeah, they're going to lean towards the QB. You know that.
Absolutely. It's pretty much a quarterback award at this point.
Yeah, if he doesn't win it, though, I'm going to go Marvin Harrison Jr. of the Cardinals. I think he's going to be a transcendent wide receiver, and I think he's going to be up there with the names mentioned, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, in the next few seasons. I think by his second, third year, he'll be right there with those guys. He's that special.
I can stand behind that, too. I would support that vote for Marvin Harrison Jr. as well.
Yeah, definitely, man. But, man, before we close it out, tell people where they can find your stuff, man.
Yeah, go ahead. Check me out on Spotify, iPodcast, wherever you get your podcast. The Run with Manny Wilson. It's on all podcast platforms if you want to check it out. And then follow us on social media as well. We're very active on Instagram and TikTok at The Run Podcast. You can check out all the short-form content there. And then follow the YouTube page as well, The Run Podcast. You'll see the full videos. You'll see the episodes of the podcast and also a little bit of the clips. So you get a little bit of everything on the YouTube page. But other than that, hey, I hope y'all check it out. And, of course, man, I appreciate you for having me on, DJ, bro. This was incredible.
Yeah, hey, we got to get you on more throughout the season, man. NFL and NBA. Definitely. Yo, we definitely got to chop up hoops next time, man.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to bring you on, and I'm going to have you on the episode.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I would love to, man. Of course.
Absolutely.
But, hey, Manny, I appreciate you coming on, especially going. I know you're taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you got a busy schedule. My brother out from Michigan. How's the weather out there in Michigan, by the way?
Man, I haven't been to Michigan in a minute. I'm out here in Chicago still, man.
Chicago? Oh, you still in Chicago? Okay.
Yep, I moved recently, so back out here in Chicago is where the Stumping Grounds is. But Michigan is always the hometown. Always a lot of love for Michigan.
Oh, yeah. But, ladies and gentlemen, yes, that's Manny Wilson of the Run Podcast. Pleasure having you on, my brother.
Appreciate you. Likewise.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's your host, DJ Hamilton, DJ Sports Show here on WRCR Radio, and we'll see you next time on WRCR. Have a great weekend, everybody.